In this video, we'll be talking about how to find dissertations in Proquest Central, or at least the first part of that. If you are new to St. Martin's, there are two quick and easy ways to get to the library. One, you can mouse over the directory. Don't click it, but mouse over it, and O'Grady Library is down here. Down in the footer, there will be a link to the library, and there will also be a link in Moodle. So pretty quick and easy to get here. Once you're at the library's homepage, click Databases. Now you can type in the name of the database, but I find it easier to just click P, scroll down to Proquest Central, and click it. Now the reason why Proquest Central is such a good tool for searching for dissertations is that the parent company, Proquest, acquired UMI, the largest publisher of dissertations in North America. So its catalog of dissertations is pretty comprehensive. It also has dissertations or indexes dissertations from outside of the US. So it's a very large database to use. When we access the page, it depends, and I'm not sure why this happens, but sometimes it will come to the advanced search screen or the basic search screen. This is the basic search screen. I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and click the advanced search screen. And the reason why is there's a number of tools here that will make your searching for dissertations easier. So from the advanced search screen, the multiple search bars allow us to create more precise search strings or series of search terms. Normally, entering 3 to 5 search terms yields more focused and useful results. Less than 3 can lead to many hits, which can require of us to spend a great deal of time narrowing and going through the list. More than 5 search terms can create searches that are so narrow that we may find very few hits or none at all. Now, mention that a common strategy for many is to start with 2 search terms and then deliberately plan on using filters to narrow the search. Today I'm going to use 3 search terms simply to demonstrate that process for you. Okay, so screen right here, there are a number of tools that we can use to help the database, to tell the database where we want it to search for our search terms. Anywhere except full text is the default, and it is a very useful one. So what it'll do is it'll look for in descriptive information, the abstract, and the abstract for our search terms. There are a couple other pretty useful terms though that we can use. I recommend not going to anywhere because that will also include full text, which will make our job kind of narrowing down the list incredibly hard. You can tell it to specifically search in the abstract. A tool that I find particularly useful is having it look in subjects and indexing. Indexing refers to item records that don't link to a full text. And the reason for there not being full text has to do with licensing agreements between the database and publishers. It can get pretty complicated. A subset of this that I find can be pretty helpful, if you are, for example, looking for dissertations about a specific person's work, you can tell it to look for that person as a subject. So for example, let's say that you were interested in looking at media culture and leadership, right? And a very important figure in that area is Irving Goffman, a very well-known social psychologist and dramaturgy theorist. So you could have it search specifically for him. If there is a particular author whose dissertation you want to look up, you can tell the database to look up this author's name. And another one that I think can be pretty helpful is document title. If you know the name of a dissertation, you can use this to stipulate that you want it to look just in the document titles. There's another way we can get at that, but I'll get there in a second. Over here on the left side of the screen, we have this drop-down menu. These are called Boolean Operators, and what they are is you can think of them as kinds of commands, although that's not really accurate from a computer science perspective. But it tells the database how we want our search terms to be related. I like to tell students frequently that databases are incredibly useful, but they are stupid because they can only act with the language that we put in. So what we need to do is gain as much control over that language as possible. The and, the or, and the not are operators that set those relationships up. The easiest way to describe this is to use a Venn diagram. So let's go grab some Venn diagrams and show you how this works. The and tells the database to only find those hits where the search terms are present together for the intersection of these items. So if we had search term A, B, and C, and we said and, we would be telling it to look for only those sources where they all intersect. The or is an inclusive or in logic, which means it's not saying A or B, but it's saying A or B, meaning that it acknowledges the possibility that all can be true, right? So this would be, if we used or, we'd be telling the database we want everything with term A, or term B, or term C. The not is actually a quite useful term. The not tells the database that we want a specific intersection of terms. However, it acknowledges that there may be a very commonly associated term that we want to filter out, right? So the example here would be we want the intersection between terms A and C, but we're only interested in that relationship. But we know that term B very frequently occurs with the other terms, but we don't want that one, right? So we would tell the database we want A and C, not B, right? So this can lead to a very narrow intersection. Coming back to the database, most of the time the and will be sufficient, can work. The or can be helpful early on in a research process if you're not totally sure what you'll find. Using ors can really expand what we're going to find, and I'm going to show you in a second an example of a search using or. And the not can be very useful once we know our subject a little bit better and we know, okay, I don't want, this aspect. I'm not interested in this aspect of the research, but I know it's very commonly, it's a very common part of the literature. All right, we'll talk about a couple other features in the next video.